And now they want to go back to Fowler. It's kind of a funny story over there.
So, and actually, one of the interesting things, I mean, what Dan's comment made me think about was that
It's really uneven.
the process of seeking bids for several of the things that we've had done in the last few years has always led to better ideas about what to look for the next time around. The most recent thing would be the roofing process. I know some things to investigate. We now know some things to investigate further that were, unfortunately, we could not settle them, and we didn't have an engineer that was willing to sign off at that moment. But I have every reason, given other information that I've gotten in the course of the flurry of events that led to our decision to go with Bradley for that roof, that we may very well be able to go with a less expensive EPDM system, and that might actually save us some money that we can then spend on some other things. And so there's just an example. I'm not saying that's what's going to happen, but
Well, no roofs are leaking, so there's no.
But I am optimistic that there's some good evidence that there is a less expensive product out there that we could avail ourselves of down the road, and I'm going to definitely be asking if I'm hoping I won't have anything to do with that actually, but that somebody will be looking into that and take that baton.
Well, as far
Run
as
with
the
it.
traffic in here goes, I come over and I meet with Ann every month, and you come over and you sign checks and I sign checks. I would say there are probably 15, 20 people an hour going through that office for one reason or another. Homeowners, vendors, employees,
Right.
20 people.
Yeah, constant.
It's
is the
continual
word I would
flow
use.
of human beings through there. So I personally think it's important to have someone here on site.
Well, it may well be that in fact the property management people, when they come, they look at the list of things and they come and look at the site and they start seeing the operation, because after all, if they have any sense, some of them have already come. So some of them already know a lot about this. So,
Yeah, several of them, yeah.
right. I mean, I know people that Scott has been talking with and that brought inside, and people I've talked to that just came over to look. And if they get to the point of actually bidding, I'm certain that they're going to come over and look at it. And then they'll look at it on a given day and get a sense of things. They're going to come and talk to Barney and ask questions. And they may decide to advise us against trying to do it the way Arborwood is doing it. They may think, oh, you've got to have somebody in the office, and we'll just make it be that person who's also maintenance. And I just don't know. But, you know, so, I mean, it does seem to me that since it's not us doing the work,
Might as well ask for it.
why not ask for both models to be bidded, and then you guys don't have to try to make a decision you aren't in a position to really make on very solid grounds, because a lot of it involves speculations about things that none of us know enough about to be sure. And we're not Nate Silver, so.
Do we have a sense of how many companies we're going to ask for bids? Are we going to have to plow through 50?
Oh,
different-
we won't.
no.
No, the subcommittee is going to act as a filter.
I think actually, yeah, the whole board should actually be involved.
I want the whole board to be involved, but I'm just saying the subcommittee can take suggestions.
The work needs to be done by the subcommittee, right?
Huh?
Yes,
Huh?
The work
So the work has to be done by the subcommittee.
right.
Right.
We're only
Well-
gonna,
And that
Well,
way, when
the
it comes to the
pages.
board, then we only have a handful.
That's
that are
right.
the recommended.
But I just-
Ideally, we
you
But
want
here's what-
should know what you get into when you accept it to the end.
I am fine.
Yeah, that's
I think that's fine. That's the point of a subcommittee ultimately, functionally, but at the same time, I want everybody on the board to hear me. If you have a company or thoughts or would like to be involved in trying to seek out companies, you are welcome to do so. Please submit these suggestions to, well, I'm actually hoping to put, Scott and Jackie and Nassim in charge of that part, because you guys have already been talking with more companies than I have. And so you could compile the list of them. The subcommittee's gonna have to come up with a sort of a plan for who's gonna check out Hast or whoever, Colorado Properties, whoever's gonna check out Mock, who's gonna check out the various ones.
Although
But
it wouldn't
this-
hurt to have more bodies to bring to bear, because there's gonna be a lot of phone calls.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. This is what I thought I said earlier, but if I didn't, I meant to. when we get the selection process, no problem, subcommittee, let them do it. If you wanna contribute a name or two, fine, we will come up with a list, we have to get these bids out by the 31st. Then, the bids roll in, and 31st of this month.
Next
There is
week
no-
is
It's
December.
either that or December.
December
baby,
first, yeah.
on my
Next
calendar,
Wednesday.
so, no. But, so, it seems to, yeah, and if this is gonna happen, in a timely way, and everybody I've talked to, all the professionals say, well, you need to do this transition at the end of the year. You don't wanna be doing this mid-year because it adds a lot of complexity. And in fact, doing it in the middle of the winter season is not bad, because things don't change that much. Most of the stuff that has to be done to prepare for the winter has been done, et cetera, et cetera. So, but, when we, by the 15th of November, we're gonna have a deadline for the bids to be coming back to us. And from the 15th of November to the 15th of December, we have to interview board members, interview homeowners, sit down and compare the money. We're gonna have some people on the subcommittee just looking at the money, looking at our budget and our expenses, and looking at what they're proposing, the numbers they give us, and trying to figure out how each of them stacks up and what it suggests about whether we should be going with this one or that one or the other one. And that's a stage that I think is going to be especially important for this board if it's going to feel comfortable and competent in deciding that it's safe to do this. Because I know that many of you are worried that the way money has been spent before, while problematic in various ways, maybe, largely due to problems in the way that we've managed. I mean, we being the board over many years, and staff that did what the board asked it to do. But I'm sure that you're gonna wanna see enough of a apples to apples comparison so you can have a sense that if it turns out that we're not gonna save money, we're not gonna be able to build more reserves, I'm gonna be a little surprised if that's the case. Because one of the things that you haven't looked at the proposal very carefully, I'm not expecting you to. I will think that you ought to be looking at these things very carefully between now and when we make a decision about a company to hire. But one of the things that we're gonna probably jettison is a personal package delivery service. We're probably gonna go to something, everybody I've talked to has suggested some model involving a Dropbox that's not personal, doesn't involve a person 40 hours a week just available to do that if nothing else. And we do have to look into how that's gonna be done, but I only use it as an example we had night staff, and a lot of what they did, you might say that the biggest thing they did was package delivery. And that was 5 nights a week plus 4 hours on the weekend at whatever
6
it
hours on the
was.
weekend.
Huh?
17,000.
Yeah, so
Yeah, but
that's not,
for
that's
that.
not chump change, as they
What
say.
Jason and I were talking about earlier, and something that you don't know, is the reason we are doing the packages is not only for convenience, but our mailboxes are not up to code.
Ah.
And so by us doing the packages, isn't that right, Barney?
So the head of the Valmont office came here last summer to remove the mailbox at the cul-de-sac, and when he called to remove it, I said, "You can't remove it. I'm not letting you." And he's like, "No, I'm not." And I put up a stink, and I told him about our packages. So he called the head
That was all
of
the
the county.
buildings.
So his boss, postmaster, came with him to inspect our property. I couldn't save the mailbox. The guy was like, "Look, we have no money, and this mailbox has been like from the head of Colorado. That mailbox has to go." So I was like, "Okay."
Jeez, who knew there was such a
We even put a pad, that's why there's a pad there. I was like, "I got a nice pad for your mailbox." And so, but while he was here, I showed him the packages, and I showed him.
What are you talking about? A mailbox?
Yeah, there used to be a
Yeah,
mailbox
there's a
out here
mailbox
where you
right
Okay,
got.
drop
yeah.
it in the mailbox.
So while he was here, I showed him the package room and I showed him the list. And he really, his jaw dropped. He was like, "You're kidding me." And initially he got mad. He was like, "So our mailmen are not delivering?" And I was like, "No, we do this." And his other reason for coming was to condemn our mailboxes.
In our buildings, they're
Yeah.
not up to code.
Yeah, they did that at Arborwood too. They put pedestals up and moved all the things,
Right.
because they used
So-
to be in the buildings.
Well, that's an exposure
Right.
that we just have to weigh. Is that when he saw the list, He's
He
like,
left us alone.
I'll just leave it.
But we may be able to finesse this by having a place that is,
Yes.
that's secure and accessible by the delivery people
Well,
and by
there's
the
two
people
different
who
things
would be
here, I think.
receiving.
I mean, you're talking about letter delivery.
It's
No,
the
it
same.
is.
No.
No, that was
Package-
one reason he
package
came,
delivery.
but
Yeah, there was another reason.
All
Our
our
mailboxes are
except
not up to code.
Yours is.
The
Well-
reason the code
Oh.
is to have the
Yeah,
mailbox of a
you're
certain
right.
size is so that
Yeah.
packages or
I
some
think
small
it's
packages can
outside
be
the-
delivered there. Right,
Mhm.
so
Yeah,
if there's
that
another
thing
place
has
for
to
that
go.
spillover to go, then you don't need to condemn the original
They,
box,
yeah,
because it
they
can
were
handle
willing
letters
to
and
let
stuff
us
like that.
have these
So
inadequate
it's like,
mailboxes.
how are we
So
dealing
what
with
is it,
bigger
something
mail,
like
basically, if we have a system we're good.
But I think we can
Building.
finesse this. But
you'd have to
So,
rebuild the
so,
wall.
but it's good that you know
and-
that because it's something we're gonna have to tell the property management firms that are gonna come up with proposals for dealing with packages.
The cost of new mailboxes has to be less than the ongoing
Oh, no.
cost
No,
of
no.
paying
Marty?
somebody
So
to
expensive.
deliver.
Well,
It's
it's a design
incredibly
issue.
expensive.
You
Might
have to
be, but-
rebuild the wall,
Check
and you'd
it
have
out.
to, you'd have to
Well,
rebuild the
some
wall.
No, 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 at Arborwood, they put them outside.
Yeah.
That's, if the
On
owners are good
pedestals.
with,
Hey, guys,
tell the owners you're gonna put them
we don't need to
outside.
solve this problem.
Right.
That's right.
That's
This is
the
not for
beauty of
today.
this project we are
I
undertaking.
just wanted to
So-
understand why we're doing the packages, not because we're paying
Well,
somebody
okay.
$11 an hour.
But the packaging can be done during the day. Why we have a stop in the evening just for that?
Because
That's
people
fine.
work,
I know,
that's
Some
why.
people
Okay.
are very unfortunate.
but you can pick it up and your day off.
Well, fortunately, I think there's a
No
way
one
of
will
sol-
be here.
I think there's a way of solving this problem that
Sorry.
will allow people
We wanna
access to
save
their
money.
packages retrieval
We wanna
at
save
all the
money
hours
this
that
side.
they currently are receiving. So
Well, one of the
Yeah.
it's
things
not
we
gonna be a
did,
difference functionally, it's
and
gonna be
you
a
know,
difference
I
in
don't know
delivery,
how
not
accurate
in-
this is, Barney, because there's like
mechanism.
one day that there's like 20 people that came
A
in, and
difference in
then the rest of the
mechanism, yeah.
days, there's only 5 or 6. But what this
People don't
was,
sign in.
what this is a traffic log that is non-packaged.
Do you want to see the
This-
package log?
Oh, they had
Well,
me
well,
sign
I
it
that's
for a
not
package.
packaged, yeah.
Huh?
They had me sign it for a package.
Yeah, this is
Okay.
for the package.
Okay, so-
because-
so there's
this-
confusion.
So
Yeah.
this should be the non-packaged log, and there's
Well,
not a
It's
lot of
mixed.
names.
It's mixed.
It is mixed. So
Yeah.
like perhaps like there's 1018.
Well, there's certainly a lot fewer than there are
1018 has a lot, but there's many days that only have 5 or 6.
Yeah.
And so the majority of traffic, because I only come here to sign for a package. Other than that, maybe I come in to drop off my check, or I come in to talk to Barney about something. Other than that, I don't come in here.
Well,
And
one
then
of
the
things
internet log has the same person 3 times.
One of the things we
So-
might do is to, in this interim period, while these guys are coming up with bids, a couple of weeks of very good records about exactly who came into this place and what they came in for would be time well spent, it seems to me,
Yeah, but
because
who's
we could
gonna do
then
it?
point out, then we can present that information to the people we're getting bids from when we're negotiating the bids and say, and by the way, what do you think? Here's what we're getting, and we might have by then a month's worth.
But who's going to come in and do that? Everybody that's here is busy.
That's right.
Who's
Well-
going to sit there and write down all this stuff?
I would.
I
It's
guess.
not
Well, if it's not possible, then it's not possible.
Well, we do have options that let us sort of split this hair, right, that say,
A lot of
you know,
people come into the club.
that maybe we can still have
Don't they?
clubhouse use without regular
You need
staff
to just
coverage
ask the
for
owners
with things
if
like
they
the
want
fob
the
option.
Yeah, well, this
the
is,
code.
we're
Take it
mixing
to the
up two
owners,
issues
just
again.
poll them.
Naseem was speaking to an issue about whether we need someone in here. That was the issue she was addressing. It was the Model A versus Model B, I thought.
It is. It is.
And-
It is
and-
because
and-
it's separating how many people come here just for package delivery and how many people come here for the clubhouse. Because one of the things that you guys have to remember is that we have a part-time person that comes in from 3 to 8, Monday through Friday, and what their responsibility is, primarily, is logging all the packages and then calling people to come and pick up the
It's true.
packages. And this person is paid $11.50 an hour. And on Saturday,
She
what,
did the website. She
But
did
she
get a raise
does.
with the website.
She used to do filing, why isn't she not doing
She's-
that anymore?
she's
well,
doing
regardless, you guys,
fireplace now.
just in terms of cost, and then on Saturdays from 8 to 2.
10 to
And
2.
that,
10 to 2.
is it 10 to 2?
Yeah.
10. It is
Okay,
10.
okay, so
Yeah.
10 to 2. Now that
That's
is
$8
less,
an hour, that's $32.
that's $8 an hour because it's a different person.
Right.
So when you total it up, it's around $17,000 a year for package service. Because primarily from 3 to 8 It's primarily package service that people are
That's
coming
fair.
in here
Well, look,
for.
I think one of the things we're trying to settle here, we already realize we don't have to settle. Because we've already, I think, by consensus, I got the sense that